As we reflect on this Thanksgiving holiday and the blessings that God has bestowed upon us, we were reminded of the many saints who showed gratitude in all circumstances and how their lives could be a lesson to us all. Saint Josephine Bakhita, born in Sudan back in 1869, is the patron saint of victims of human trafficking. Although we celebrate her feast in February, Dr. Matthew Bunson, Vice President of News and Editorial Director of EWTN News, says she is a perfect saint to associate with Thanksgiving. That's because even though she was kidnapped and enslaved for 12 years and physically and emotionally abused, she exhibited tremendous gratitude.
Yeah, she talked about the fact that when she was very young, she looked and suffering as a child, as a slave in Africa, that she would look to the heavens and she saw the beauty of creation, even in the darkest of those hours, and recognized that something bigger than she was had brought all of this into being.
In 1883, she was sold to an Italian who brought her to Italy, where she eventually worked as a nanny and then was placed in custody of the Canossian sisters, where she developed a love for Catholicism and was later received into the church.
And I think her capacity for fortitude, but also for hope, is one of those great lessons for us.
Dr. Bunson says another saint who showed faith and gratitude even in the darkest of times is St. Ignatius of Loyola.
Yeah, it was as a soldier during the siege of Pamplona that his leg was almost blown off by a cannonball. He was convalescing for a year in bed.
After his tragedy, not only did he read about the saints, but offered his sword to the Blessed Mother. Wanting to deepen his faith and grow even more in his spirituality, he spent many months in a cave where he found an immense gratitude for the path that led him to conversion.
In so many ways is Ignatius's gratitude for having been led from a life of violence to a life of prayer and ultimately to a life of profound holiness that has shaped the church, has shaped millions of lives over the centuries.
In 1540, Pope Paul III received Ignatius and some of his friends who followed him in his spiritual exercises and approved them as an official order known as the Jesuits. Finally, Dr. Bunson points out that St. Faustina, mostly known for Jesus' revelation of the divine mercy, is also known as the patron saint of gratitude in the family.
Well, in her life, she recognized being grateful for being obedient to God's will by opening ourselves up.
In her diary of the Divine Mercy, she made a list of her daily crosses and sufferings while giving thanks to God.
It is in gratitude for the life that God has given us that is ultimately not our own, in the sense that we give it back to Him in gratitude, but then conforming ourselves to what He really wants for us in our lives.